Welcome to the latest episode of Startup Selfie. Today we will be interviewing Mr. Hitesh Oberoi, co-promoter, MD and CEO, InfoEdge. Firstly, it's a pleasure to interview you. We're very happy that you're here with us and you can share from your experience and entrepreneurship journey. My first question to you would be that when you look back your journey as an entrepreneur, what are the milestones that you've come across and what is that one skill you would say that every entrepreneur should possess?
I think the number one thing is to start. So many people dream of becoming entrepreneurs, they dream of starting something on their own, but they never get around to doing it.
Right.
So I think the first and the most important thing is to start.
Just to start. Right.
That's the first milestone, and that's a big milestone in my view.
Very big, yeah.
And I think, and after that, it's about persistence.
Persistence.
Because it can take a long time. It's people think they can sort of build something and exit in 2 or 3 years. That never happens.
That never happens.
It's a marathon.
Right.
So you have to be at it for a long time if you want to succeed.
True. So when you say persistence, there are a lot of startups who start and shut down in the first 5 years. And yes, I've heard that everyone talks about being persistent, being out there. But has it actually, in comparison to your journey, sir, has it actually been that easy to be persistent? I mean, when you go up and then you go down and then up and down, it's a journey, it's a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
What is that one thing that kept you going? Was it your vision? Was it your faith in yourself? Or what was it?
So, I was fairly young when I started on this journey.
Right.
And therefore, at the back of my mind, it was, listen, if it doesn't work out, I can always sort of do something else.
Right.
But, I think what happens is that if you hit upon a good idea, right, and if you hit upon something which people want, which customers want, then that motivates you and that keeps you going. Now, the struggle starts when you sort of work on something which, when you take to market, you find that adoption is very weak.
True.
And then you have to go back and think of what next.
Right.
And then, this whole cycle can take a long time. So there will be ups and downs.
Yeah.
But, there will be times, and there are so many companies around us which have pivoted over time. For example, let's take Snapdeal. They didn't start as an e-commerce company. They started as a coupon company.
And then they
became an e-commerce company. And then over time, they've changed the e-commerce model as well. So you will sort of, and that's part of the journey. So you have to be prepared for that, because we were lucky. We sort of had a relatively easy run. But from what I see, in many cases, people don't get it right the first time. And so therefore, when you get into it, you have to sort of, in your head, say at least that I'm going to be here for a while. And what you should not do is pack up the first time or the moment things become difficult. Because that is surely, if you do that, then you would never succeed.
So when do you think is the right time to know that your idea, you need to evolve and you need to change your idea? And the second part of this question would be, sir, that how would you say the job scene has evolved over the years, and how has Naukri evolved to, to sustain itself, or to, because Naukri has been doing so well from day one, but how has that evolved with the changing job scene?
So, when you start, you have some idea in mind, then you sort of build on it. But I think the important thing is to keep testing it with customers. Right? You're building it for somebody. Ultimately, everything is bought by a customer. Right? So I think it's important to go to customers and early in the game to understand if there is a need for a product which you are building. I met many companies which spend 2 to 3 years building a product and they don't meet customers, and when they go to market, they realize that nobody wants the product, or that their pricing is wrong, or for various reasons the product doesn't sell. Having said that, sometimes people develop the right product or people have the right idea, but when they take it to market, they don't do a proper job of taking it to market. And for that reason, they will give up on the idea. So that should also not happen. You have to know how to take it to market. So you could get the product wrong.
Yes.
And to avoid that, you should keep talking to customers. But you may have got the product right, but you may get the go-to-market wrong. In this case, so you have to be able to figure that out.
So you need to make a balance and know both the things at the same time. Every entrepreneurship journey has failures. There are moments when you. So what have your failures taught you?
Actually, you learn more from your failures than you learn from success. Because when we became successful for a long time, we were trying to figure out what made us successful.
So what did actually make you successful, sir?
So but what I've realized over time is that there are 2 or 3 things which matter a lot.
Right.
The first thing is, like I said, you have to have an idea which is unique,
True.
a little differentiated from the rest, and which is relevant to your customers. So that's very important. You have to broadly get the timing right. You can't be very early and you can't be very late. Right? It's not as if you have to be the first. Google was not the first search engine. Facebook was not the first social networking platform. But you have to broadly get your timing right. And when you build something in a market where competition already exists, you have to do it differently. You can't sort of be a me too and expect to succeed.
Right.
After that, a lot of it boils down to hard work and persistence, focus, determination. These kind of things matter. And lastly, what matters a lot, especially when you want to scale, is that you sort of need to have the right people skills. Because ultimately you can't do it all by yourself. You will have to build a team. You will have to attract other people to work for you. No customer wants to work with somebody who's like who's a jerk or difficult to work with. No employee wants to work with a boss who's almost difficult to work with. So you have to have the right set of people skills.
And people skills and persistence and everything you spoke about, sir. But coming back to my question, what have your failures taught you, sir?
So this is what your failures teach you.
That these are the criteria.
These are the things you have to watch out for.
What was one of the things amongst the ones you listed was most difficult for you?
So, which was most difficult for us? Okay. So to be honest, in the early days of Naukri, we had a very good run.
You had a?
We had a good run.
Okay.
We built a decent product, but when we took it to market, and there was demand for the product.
Yes.
But what happened was that there was competition, and our competitors also launched a few products, which became very popular in the market, and we didn't have those products.
Right.
Right. But the good thing was that we were in the market. We were meeting our customers regularly, and actually our customers told us that, listen, your products are good, but you can only charge X for those products. We can't pay you a lot for those products. But why don't you build a product like this?
Oh, your customers told
Our customers told us, see, this is something which is working well for us. So if you have something like this, why not? Buy that as well.
Yeah.
So we were able to take that feedback, from our customers and build new products. Right. Which actually took our business to the next level. Otherwise, you would have struggled for a long time. So for a while, while we were successful, we failed because we were not able to see this change in the market.
Right.
And if this had continued for a long time, our competition would have actually become much bigger than us. But because luckily it took us a while actually to take this feedback from our customers back to our technology team. So I used to be in the market every day meeting customers, and I was for a while I used to wonder whether it makes sense for us to build a product like this or not.
Yeah.
And then I relayed it back to my technology people and said, listen, why don't you think of building a product like this? But for a while they were also not convinced. So it took us about a year and a half actually to take that product to market, and that product today is our largest selling product. 65% of our revenue comes from that product, right? Which did not exist when we got funded. So for a while we were sort of at sea, but luckily we were able to recover and launch the product in time and then make it successful. So that's one thing we sort of learned, that you should be in the market, you should be meeting customers, you should know what's happening around you. It should not be that you miss out on a trend. So that is something which we learned early on. And then of course even later we realized that when we launched getting into the other businesses we are in, like Jeevansathi and 99acres and so on, that if you're going to be ultimately selling what your competition is selling, right, there is no reason for you to win. Right. So you have to be different, you have to be unique, you have to constantly keep innovating, and if you're not doing that, then you can build a reasonable business, but you will never become large.
So what would you say, sir, have been your differentiating factors? As you said, you have to be different, you have to be unique. What is that one thing? One thing obviously you said that you spoke with your customers and you implemented it there and then. But if you look back, what has been the differentiating factors?
For Naukri?
For Naukri.
I think one sort of thing we got right very early on was that we decided to put a field sales team to sell the Naukri product. Because at that point in time, what people used to think, and this was a sort of collective wisdom at that time, that if you have an internet product, you don't need to set up a field sales operation to sell that product. People should come and buy the product online.
Yes.
But India was not ready for the internet in those days. I'm talking about 20 years ago. Even today, actually, it's very hard to sell a product online in India. So what we got right very early on was this whole system of putting salespeople on the ground to meet HR managers. So over time we opened a network over 35-40 offices all over the country and hired close to 500 salespeople to sell the Naukri product to HR people. And that's something we got right very early on, and that differentiated us from a lot of the other players in the market who did not do a very good job of this. The second thing sort of we got right, and what happened as a result of the sales operation was that not only did we get revenue, right, but we also got more jobs on our platform. And the jobs on our platform got people to our platform, got job seekers to our platform. And when job seekers came to our platform, they found jobs to our platform, and then they told other people. So we were able to create a massive word of mouth for ourselves. And the network effect sort of got going as a result of some of these things we did early on. And that differentiated us from competition, because ultimately in our business, the site which has the most jobs, which has the most customers, which has the most job seeker wins. And because we got this whole piece right, as a result of this investment, we were able to get the most jobs, and as a result of that, we were able to get the most job seekers, and as a result of that, many people got jobs through us, and as a result of that, our customers were happy and they gave us even more jobs.
Wow.
This network effect we got going very early on differentiated us from a lot of other job roles.
Great, sir. And coming back to my entrepreneurship questions, these days there's a trend where everyone is looking for investment. Most of the startups are, sometimes I feel that they're not focusing less on their product and focusing more on getting the investment. What tips would you like to share with them on this whole
early stage startups,
on this whole investment?
So I think when we also invest in a lot of companies. So when you are very early and basically all you have is a business plan or a product with some traction but no customers, what entrepreneurs look at or what investors look at is the quality of the team, right? So the team has to sort of they have to believe that this team can do it, right? They have the right sort of skills. They have a vision. They will be persistent, like I said, and they have come up and they have a reasonably good understanding of the markets they're targeting, and because frankly there's nothing else at that point in time to see. So this is what they look for. So my advice to sort of early stage entrepreneurs, companies would be, first get a good team of have some good co-founders, have a good team in place, and try and sort of build something which is unique, like I said, and relevant at the same time. Try and target a market which is reasonably large, because investors want to invest in sort of companies with scale, right? And if you can bootstrap for a while and produce a product which has traction, that's great, because then that reduces the risk for companies who are getting it.
Thank you so much for sharing your tips and advice.
Thank you so much. Nice.